Conservation psychology is another type of applied psychology. It's not one that people talk about a lot, but it does exist. So it's very specific, which is kind of the point of a lot of these applied psychologies. It's early on, before we actually get to the point where it exists, there was an emphasis on psychology's role in sustainability. How could we worry about helping humans want to be more sustainable and use their environment more sustainably as opposed to just trashing it? Be good stewards of the earth, for example. So when they looked into it, they found out it was less about environmental problems and more about human behavior and how to control that behavior. Stop and think about examples before you click to the next slide. So examples of this kind of behavior are pollution. Why we all have to drive, so we're all smogging up everything. Deforestation is why we have this big movement to put things electronically, so there'll be less trees needing to be cut down to make more paper. Climate change, because of all the pollution clogging up the environment, so changing the climate. Sustainability, is this planet really able to support this many people? All those questions that people have asked for many, many years. So conservation psychology starts to be birthed to address some of this. The idea is how to help humans live better in harmony with their world, and how to help them live better in harmony with their world, because better balance equals more sustainability. If it goes back to if you're trekking in the wilderness and you trek in with 2 pots, 2 pans, and a plastic bag, then trek out with those items. Don't leave the plastic bag somewhere. Don't bring something else out. Take in what you take out, or take out what you take in. Make sure it's the same. To leave a footprint, or don't leave a footprint. This type of psychology was not called environmental psychology because that word, even though it might have made more sense, that word already referred to human environments and how humans interacted within those environments. So in that respect, the term environment could refer to your cubicle at your office, park, a rainforest. It could refer to anything, but it referred to how humans interacted in the environment. So that was deemed not broad enough for this new idea. So they needed a new applied area to connect the nature-only environments with therapies and ideas. Along those lines, NDD came along, which hasn't really picked up steam, but it did arise. Nature deficit disorder, this movement that children just weren't even feeling the soil or grass or being out and about in nature, and then suffering effects of it. Not their mood wasn't as stabilized as having a connection with nature and an outdoor feeling. So nature deficit disorder came along, and this idea of these nature-only environments came along, and therapies connected to them, and so the idea of conservation came along. Conservation psychology, then, the study of interactions between humans and nature. So not humans and any environment, but humans and the natural environment. Specifically, how to help humans want to conserve more. They're not just throw their plastic water bottles somewhere, or maybe not even use plastic water bottles. How to get them to use those steel or whatever they are, those drinking mugs. I can't even think what to call them. The thermoses, that's the word. So not just always reaching for a plastic bottle, or not even that. Maybe doing even worse. How about not leaving all the lights on? How about this, that, and the other thing? So how to conserve the resources we have, how to be good stewards. Conservation psychology employs psychological principles and theories to help understand and solve issues related to human aspects of conservation, which we've kind of said that, and to try to understand how the emotional connection to the natural environment affects us mentally, physically, and emotionally. And I think that that does happen. I mean, I think you would have to admit you feel good if you go out into the woods, or if you go to Trail of Tears, or you sit out in your backyard and just commune with nature. I think some people would say they don't like the outdoors, but most people need sunshine on their skin, if nothing else. It does provide vitamins and benefits. And connected to the emotional part, this is where you get the idea of those ropes courses, those outdoor rigging kind of courses where people go on events to kind of figure out and work out their problems. It's why a lot of camps for kids who have emotional disturbances are wilderness based. A lot of this is rooted in the conservation psychology idea. But specific concerns, role of global climate, our role, humans' role in global climate change, the Earth's carrying capacity, how many people can it really support, which the alternatives for that get very dicey and very controversial as people decide who gets to stay and who doesn't get to be born or gets sterilized or all that. So there's lots of controversial sides to this also, but there's always a unit that's working on worrying about Earth's carrying capacity. Are there too many people? And then the ecological or carbon footprint, which is what I was saying a while ago. Consume only what you need to, pack in only what you need to, and pack that back out. Don't leave it. Leave things for replenishing. Don't just consume. Don't just take all the trees and then not plant any back, for example. So figuring out what are we doing to the environment, and what is our impact. So conservation psychology is interested in that.